What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the top 10 greatest Canadian movies. You know, I'm very excited for this topic because, on a personal level, I'm a big fan of movies in general, but like most Americans, I think, I don't really know what makes a movie Canadian. Does it need to have Canadian actors or a Canadian director? Or does the movie need to be set in Canada, like take place in Canada, for it to be a Canadian movie? I'm not really sure. Yeah, but to be honest, I'm not sure I can even really name a movie that even takes place in Canada, if I'm being totally honest. And that's why I think this is going to be good for me, so I can really start to appreciate some Canadian cinema. So, let's take a look.
Number 10, My Winnipeg.
Oh,
Snowy, sleepwalking Winnipeg.
oh my gosh, it's a movie about Winnipeg. Who knew? My Winnipeg. Yeah, never heard of this before. I do have to say, this is the, like, if I heard this title randomly, I finally would have been able to be like, oh, that's a Canadian movie. It's called My Winnipeg.
Our first entry weighs in boasting a 4 out of 4 from Roger Ebert and a 94% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Huh.
Not too shabby.
Winnipeg has 10 times the sleepwalking rate of any other city in the world. And
What?
because we dream of where we walk and walk to where we dream, we are always lost.
A sur-
Huh? Huh? I didn't really know what My Winnipeg was going to be about, but I didn't expect some kind of existential, spiritual experience from this movie. What is this about? Does it really have the most sleepwalkers? I don't know.
surrealist mockumentary about the titular city. My Winnipeg chronicles one man's journey to escape it.
Every night I have the same happy dream that I'm back in my childhood home.
This is a surrealist documentary about a man trying to escape Winnipeg. That's the movie. That's what it is. Canadians out there, have you watched this? Is this famous in Canada? I'm confused, but oddly intrigued.
It was the biggest house in the neighborhood, also the strangest.
After being commissioned by the documentary channel for the project, director Guy Madden was told not to tell the same old Winnipeg is a frozen hellhole story. Instead, he centered the film on a fictional version of himself and made a documentary about the city as he tries to film his way out of it. The end result
Okay.
is a visually stunning masterpiece.
I mean, I think they said this got good ratings, good Rotten Tomatoes scores. I don't know. It's clearly like a little older. It's black and white. Interesting, to say the least.
We brought the parakeet with us.
How dare you?
You were warned.
Tried to be nice. Oh.
Number 9, Atanarjuat, The Fast Runner.
Atanajawat, the Fast Runner. This is clearly about an indigenous Canadian, like a First Nations tribe or something, right?
To the outside world, not much is known about Canada's Arctic Indigenous Inuit people.
Yeah.
This film, helmed by Canadian Inuk filmmaker Zacharias Canuck, is the retelling of a legend about a tight-knit Inuit group.
Oh, this is awesome. That's awesome that there's like a movie, or is this more of a documentary dedicated to like Inuit indigenous Canadian people and their way of life, and that's fantastic that there's a movie about this.
It broke the mold for Canadian movies, as the entirety of the film was directed and acted in Inuktitut, a
Wow.
principal Inuit language.
Yeah, it's literally in the native language. That's cool as well. Wow, that's cool that this exists. I don't know how many Canadians out there have actually seen this movie. But yeah, now I'm starting to understand what really constitutes a Canadian movie. Although I'm still kind of curious what else is on this list. But so far, these are movies literally about Canada, filmed in Canada, by Canadians.
Atanarjuat achieved major success on the awards circuit, winning the Camera d'Or at Cannes, multiple awards at the Genies, and a slew of independent awards.
Cool.
Perhaps most impressively, in a poll of filmmakers and critics, the Toronto International Film
Look at this. Look at this igloo. This is how Americans think all Canadians live. A lot of Americans would watch this and be like, this is just Canada. They're just doing what you do every time winter begins, carving your home out of ice.
Festival named it the greatest Canadian film of all time in 2015.
Wow. That's cool.
Number 8, The Sweet Hereafter.
This looks more like a normal movie. The Sweet Hereafter. It's like almost 30 years old. I've never heard of this before, but I recognize this actor.
As far as I'm concerned, somebody, somewhere, made a decision to cut a corner.
It's rare to come across an author who really approves of the movie version of his or her book, let alone freely admits it's better than his or her book. But Russell Banks, author of the novel version of The Sweet Hereafter, did just that.
What's the story business?
The Sweet Hereafter. It is a book. Now it's a movie. Is it about Canada in some way?
He's a very kind man. And he knew that you'd need a computer for doing schoolwork.
Building on his breakout hit Exotica, director Adam Egoyan remained true to his source material, beautifully converting Banks' tragic story of a school bus accident that leaves 14 children dead, and the soul-crushing aftermath to the silver screen.
I can help you.
Oh, wow. This is a drama. Some sort of Canadian drama movie. Okay. Have a lot of Canadians out there. Have you ever seen The Sweet Hereafter?
Unless you can raise the dead.
The drama was so moving, it earned 3 awards at Cannes, including the prestigious Grand Prize of the Jury, and was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including Best Director.
Wow.
Enough rage and helplessness and your love turns to something else.
Nominated for Academy Awards. This is clearly a good movie, and recognized as such. So were, to give credit to the other 2 movies. I think they were had some award or at least nominations too.
Number 7, Les Invasions Barbares.
Okay, I'm really putting my brain to work here, but I am going to think, based on the context clues, this might be French. This might be French-Canadian. I think. Les Invasions Barbares. Oh, that's good. That's cool that this list is you're covering a lot of different parts of Canadian culture. Now French-Canadian. Earlier it was the Indigenous Canadians. Then it was Winnipeg. Covering all our bases.
C'est ce que je te souhaite. D'avoir un fils aussi bien que toi.
We don't typically have high expectations for sequels, but this follow-up to 1986's award-winning Le Déclin de l'Empire américain set a new standard for excellence.
Okay.
On est entre amis, on discute. Des intellectuels, ça parle.
Picking up 17 years after the events of the first film, this comedy drama tells the story of main character Rémi's battle with cancer, and how he reconnects with his son during such a difficult period.
Oh, sounds like a pretty powerful story. I don't know, it's hard because no matter how good the story, when there is a language barrier like this, for English speakers, it's just going to be tough to even give this a chance, even though it probably deserves it. But I imagine this was pretty well known and popular in French-speaking parts of Canada.
Je te présente mon fils Sébastien qui va venir avec moi.
It was an award season hit, collecting the César Awards for Best Picture, Director, and Original Screenplay, as well as Best Actress and Screenplay at Cannes.
C'est pas votre vie actuelle que vous voulez pas quitter. C'est votre vie d'autrefois. Elle est déjà morte, cette vie-là.
Oh, wow.
Most importantly, however, thanks to its intelligence, irony, and themes, The Barbarian Invasions earned Canada's first ever win for Best Foreign Language Film at the Academy Awards.
Wow. All of these movies, like, seriously were recognized, like, at awards and stuff, so I'm assuming they're quite good. You know, we're only getting a quick little brief synopsis of them and all that, but that's kind of how it has to be to get through this list, but clearly these are very critically acclaimed.
Je te jure, je me sens aussi démuni que le jour de ma naissance. J'ai pas réussi à trouver un sens. C'est ça qu'il faut chercher.
Number 6, Mommy.
What is this?
Mommy is a tamer effort than director Xavier Dolan's 2009 success I Killed My Mother.
Huh? A lot of random sequels, too. I don't even know the originals, or some of these are based on books, and this one's Mommy. It's another French-Canadian film.
But still doesn't hold back.
Papa? C'est qu'il aurait dit, lui? Rien, tu le sais. Rien, tu le sais.
The 2014 drama tells the story of a widow, Ziane, who deinstitutionalizes her son when she realizes the best place for him to improve may be at home.
Là, il va falloir qu'il y ait des règles à la maison. Tu restes avec ta mère, là, c'est pas qu'on ait de trop. Va falloir que t'aies ta mère, OK?
Sending a touching message about family, love, and struggle. The film was a critical
This is interesting. It's taken a turn, this list. These are no longer movies about Canada. These are just stories, like good stories and movies, just like any normal movie. It just seems like what makes them Canadian? For these, it's that they're French-Canadian actors and script and all that. So, I don't know, the rules for this list, I'm not sure exactly what they are. What makes a movie Canadian? If it has to be about Canada, or just filmed in Canada, or maybe a combination of those.
success. It premiered at Cannes, where it received a 13-minute standing ovation and won the jury prize.
Wow. Ouais, nous deux.
It also won 9 Canadian Screen Awards, including for Best Motion Picture, which isn't bad at all, considering it was shot on what's now considered a measly $4.9 million budget.
C'est pas parce qu'on aime quelqu'un qu'on peut le sauver. L'amour a rien à voir là-dedans.
2 years later, Dolan would again take home trophies from the Cannes Film Festival when his drama It's Only the End of the World won the Grand Prix and the Ecumenical Jury Prize.
Wow. Clearly a lot of very talented Canadian filmmakers as well that probably don't get much recognition here in America, that's for sure. We're always thinking of, like, you know, the Steven Spielbergs and, you know, there must be some pretty big Canadian movie directors out there. Maybe I just don't know they're Canadian.
Pour les bisous, pour Antoine, pour la bouffe, et pour moi.
Number 5, Crazy.
D'aussi loin que je me rappelle, j'ai toujours détesté.
Another French-Canadian film. Doesn't shock. Now that I think about it, there's probably so many French-Canadian films over time that have been created that haven't gotten their fair chance to be, like, appreciated by, well, maybe even English-speaking Canada, and certainly by Americans who, you know, we are not watching foreign language films, if I'm being perfectly honest. So I don't mind getting a little exposure to this.
Set in Quebec between the 1960s and the 1980s, this drama sees director and co-writer Jean-Marc Vallée weave a beautifully tragic story about a young boy coming to terms with his homosexuality while having to deal with 4 brothers and a conservative father.
Okay.
Mais oui, mais c'est ça qu'il voulait.
Puis, c'est pas lui qui décide. Non, tu peux pas m'en faire une fifi, là.
It's a raw portrayal of the struggle so many in the homosexual community face, and it ultimately leaves you sad, touched, and happy at the same time.
That's good. That's a difficult subject matter and an important subject matter to try to make a film about. So, yeah, I appreciate this.
Qu'est-ce que tu veux que je te dise, hein? Que je fiffe? Une tapette?
Thanks to its incredible acting, honesty, and touching tale, this critically acclaimed gem won the City Award for Best Canadian Feature Film at the Toronto International Film Festival and earned multiple Jutra Awards.
Okay.
Dieu merci, tu ne sauras jamais.
Number 4, Incendie.
La mort, c'est jamais la...
Another French-Canadian film. The French-Canadians are dominating this list today of the greatest... These are the great... According to this list, anyway, these are some of the greatest Canadian movies ever. This has been like the 4th French-Canadian movie in a row. So, you know, props to French-Canadians out there making movies. And, yeah, it certainly doesn't get appreciated enough, at least by Americans, that for sure. You know, you better believe I've never heard of any of these before.
La fin d'une histoire. Il y a toujours des traces.
Ostensibly, this movie can be described as two siblings' journey to uncover the story of their mother's life after she passes away by traveling to her birthplace.
Okay.
However, that wouldn't do justice to the brilliantly designed, intricate storytelling constructed by director and co-writer Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, Denis Villeneuve. He's famous. Is he French-Canadian? I knew he was French. Denis Villeneuve. I feel like, did he make Dune or something? Or I think he's really, really big. Like, really big. Huh.
وين فكر حالك رايح ها؟
Nicolas, خلاص! خلاص يا Nicolas!
This epic about a brave mother's life and her twin children's expedition to discover it exists both in the present and through flashbacks. Every scene covers a range of emotions, begging the viewer to truly contemplate the complexities of the film.
À Jeanne et Simon, l'enfance est un couteau planté dans la gorge. On ne le retire pas facilement.
Nominated for the Best Foreign Language Film at the Oscars.
These are all very... There's another theme here with these French-Canadian movies. They're very dramatic. Very, very dramatic. I'm not seeing any comedies or action, you know. Maybe the stuff that I typically am attracted to. Some fantasy. This ain't Lord of the Rings. This is like a real world touching, relatable stuff. Man. And that makes sense. And that's probably the kind of thing that wins awards and really connects with people. So just something I was kind of noticing. Like, this is deep.
Oscars. The mystery drama also earned a large collection of accolades, including 8 genies.
Excusez mon introduction, mais c'est pour votre protection.
Number 3, Juno.
Juno? Juno? I remember Juno a little bit. This is a very famous movie. I can't believe it came out almost 20 years ago. Oh my god. Oh geez. I never really watched this movie, but I know this was like one of the first movies Ellen Page here was in. Yeah, there she is. And Dwight from The Office is right there. I didn't know that. This is a very popular, famous movie. Very famous in America. So what makes this Canadian? Was this filmed in Canada, or?
Ain't no Etch-a-Sketch. This is one doodle that can't be undid, Holmes Gillett.
With an all-star cast including Ellen Page, Michael Cera, Jason Bateman, Jennifer Garner, and J.K. Simmons. Is it really a surprise to see Juno on this list?
Really?
This comedy drama follows Page's fiercely sarcastic Juno and Sarah's awkward Polly as they face an unplanned pregnancy.
What, are you ashamed that we did it?
No.
Because at least you don't have to have the evidence under your sweater. I'm a planet.
Despite tackling...
Oh my god. Jeez. That's one way to put it. I'm pregnant. I look like a planet. Okay. Yeah, I am familiar with this movie. Most people know of this movie or have seen this movie. What makes it a Canadian movie? Because this is the most well-known one by far on this list so far.
Such a controversial theme. It received praise from both pro-life and pro-choice advocates for its depiction of abortion.
Hey, yeah, I'm just calling to procure a hasty abortion. What? Can you just hold on for a second? I'm on my hamburger phone.
It earned 4 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, Director, Actress, and Original Screenplay,
Wow.
which it won.
Honey,
Wow.
Had you considered,
This won an Academy Award? I didn't know that.
you know, the alternative?
No.
Well, you're a little Viking.
And though they were already on their way, we can thank Juno for helping propel Paige, Sarah, and director Jason Reitman into stardom.
They seem to be getting pregnanter these days.
This was like the movie that propelled Ellen Page and Michael Cera into stardom, yeah.
Number 2,
And Superbad.
Monsieur Lazare.
Bachir Lazare.
Another French-Canadian movie, Monsieur Lazare.
Bonjour, Madame Vaillancourt.
Another film that tugs at the heartstrings. Monsieur Lazare centers on an Algerian immigrant who takes over a Canadian elementary school classroom after one of its teachers commits suicide.
Je sais que
Oh my
la fin de
God.
semaine a été très dure. Là, c'est important qu'on soit solidaires.
Wow.
On va passer à travers de ça ensemble.
He helps the students come
These French-Canadian films, man, I'm telling you, they are really deep. They touch on some really tough issues.
to grips with the trauma of losing their teacher, while also dealing with his own tragic backstory.
Ma femme devait partir le 25 juin à 5 heures du matin, cachée dans un camion de livraison.
Considered one of the best films of 2012, the drama won big time on the awards circuit, earning an Oscar nomination for Best Foreign Language Film, and winning 6 Genie and 7 Jutra awards.
Yeah, so many of these films are so well received and have so many awards, but I feel like they're so underappreciated. Maybe they're appreciated in like Quebec or French-speaking parts of Canada. Maybe I'm speaking out of line here, but I think certainly I can speak for America. These are totally unknown, totally underappreciated.
Tu as vu la photo?
J'ai pas besoin de voir de photos. Martine est tout le temps dans ma tête.
Perhaps more importantly, though, it taught a poignant lesson about life, loss, and acceptance.
C'est pas de ta faute.
Wow.
Martine était malade depuis longtemps.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Okay.
Thing is, half the time I wander around looking for something which I know is very pertinent. But I can't remember what it is.
Now what?
The Red Violin.
What do you do when the thing you most wanted so perfect just comes?
This got Samuel L. Jackson in it.
There's 2 different ways to look at it. Billy just wants the models and the limousines, and I'm happy with the hookers and taxi cabs.
Cube! I feel like I've seen Cube. Is this randomly the one movie on this whole list that I've seen? Cube? The horror movie? Yeah, I've seen Cube. Oh no, this is the one Canadian movie I've seen. Oh gee, oh my god, okay. Okay.
Number 1, Videodrome.
Videodrome is something for you to leave alone. It is definitely not for public consumption.
With David Cronenberg at the helm, you can't be blamed for having high expectations.
What is this trippy movie? Videodrome. Canadians make some trippy movies. The Winnipeg one. There's a hand coming out of the TV here.
But we're not sure anyone could have predicted this brilliant early effort from the Canadian director.
What the heck?
When the president of a sensationalist Toronto TV network begins airing a new program based on violence and torture, he soon discovers he's actually stumbled upon a mind control conspiracy.
After all, there is nothing real outside our perception of reality.
This surrealist film didn't...
Huh? What? Have Canadians seen this? What is wrong with you? I'm just kidding, but Videodrome, this is weird.
Performed too well commercially, and only picked up small notice on the award circuit. However, it's had a much stronger cultural impact, especially over time.
I've been hallucinating for a while, ever since...
What?
Since I first saw Videodrome.
The sci-fi body horror flick set a new standard for science fiction and dystopian films.
What is happening? What is this movie?
And has since cemented itself as a cult classic. While Cronenberg's Eastern Promises deserves plenty of love, the utterly unique Videodrome is his finest hour.
Torture, murder, mutilation.
Videodrome.
Do you agree with...
Okay. There we have it. 10 of the finest Canadian movies ever created. This was an interesting list to me. It seems like these were mostly movies created by Canadians or featuring Canadian themes and topics. That's why they're the greatest Canadian movies. Most of these I've never heard of before ever, which was kind of fun for me. That's kind of what I was hoping for, in a way. A lot of French-Canadian stuff, too. That was interesting. And there was a native Inuit Canadian movie, too. So I actually thought this was really cool. It actually, you know, as far as Canadian cultural exposure, this is pretty cool. I don't think I'd ever have heard of any of this stuff any other way, really. So for that reason, I enjoyed this, if not thinking some of these were a bit strange. But that's okay. They're movies. It's art. You interpret it how you will. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on the greatest Canadian movies. If you agreed with these movies, or if there was something that should have been on this list that wasn't, that'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.